What's up, everybody? I'm B-True, and today I'm going to be giving you a complete list of teams and lineups you can use with the Fire main. Now, one of my, the videos that's doing the best on my channel, and one of the videos that you guys seem to have liked the most and that helped you out the most, is my complete Lightning main team guide. And a lot of people have been asking for guides for the other mains. So today I said that I would do the Fire main next, and that's what we're going to do. So yeah, if you are interested in any more of this content, do make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future stuff, my videos and my live streams. But anyway, let's get into this. So, the Fire main. Now, the Fire main is very flexible, or versatile, you should say, right? So, the Fire main can do a lot of things. The Fire main can be a damage dealer. The Fire main can be a support character, like a pseudo tank. Like, the Fire main can't tank, but it can make your lineup tankier. He can add a lot of pseudo tankiness and a lot of support, so he can be a very strong support character, a very strong damage dealer, which makes the Fire main very well rounded. There's a lot of things you can do with the Fire main. So obviously you have two of the mysteries here are damage dealing, right? So this one adds the debuff. This one is it attacks the 7 opponents, so it's a very strong attack. This is a crowd control spell that will give you immobile and imprison, and it's also going to cancel any skills the enemy might be using. And then this is your sort of supporty kind of tanky. So you've got damage, debuff, and support all in the mysteries right there. And then for the standard attacks, again, you've got crowd control, and then you've got AoE ignition. You've got 10 combo, which is really easy to hit. So like just in those two right there, you can do a lot of things with the Lightning main, or the Fire main, excuse me. So then we have debuffs, lots of debuffs on the chases. We've got ignition, this is the imprison, and then so they lose, they take health. They lose health whenever they use a skill with this Fire style Celestial Prison on them. And then we have a blindness, right? So then we also have Red Lotus Secret doesn't really get used too much. You've got your standard enhancement for fire. All the mains have this. You have a ninjutsu lifesteal, which can be very helpful for a ninjutsu team. Genjutsu Mirror Return is one of the best skills that you can use with the Fire main, just because it reflects one debuff, the first debuff, every single round. That can add a ton of tankiness, and it's a very strong support skill for your lineup. This is one of the best skills that the Fire main has. You also got your clone. He can generate chakra, gets a little bit of health back. He's got reduce the resistance of all your opponents, which helps with all your debuffs. And then his unparalleled makes him very strong for all of the summon events. Anyway, so what can we do with the Fire main? So this is going to be a guide to help you from all the levels, from free to play all the way up to pay to win. Everybody, I'm going to try and make this as comprehensive as possible. So when you first start off in the game, you're not going to have we're not going to have access to a ton of ninja, right? So for your tanks, you've got a couple options early in the game. This is right when you start. You have Neji, Hinata, Naruto. Those are going to be the 3 tanks that you have the best, that are going to be the best in the very beginning of the game. Neji is great because he causes acupuncture in the first round, and he can cause the acupuncture every 2 turns, right? So that's a very strong thing that Neji can do. He also has a very strong, or a high chance of evading the first basic attack that he gets, which also helps him out. And then you've got Hinata. Hinata is very strong because she causes acupuncture with her chase. So as long as you're causing your chase, she can cause acupuncture every single round. Very strong early when you first start off in the game. Because when you first start, mystery skills are kind of they're everything throughout the whole game, but like when you first start off, it's a big deal. Plus the fact that when she uses her mystery, she basically doesn't take any damage from standard attacks. Makes her, again, a very strong tank. And then you have Naruto, who's just, he adds a bunch of clones. He has damage with his mystery. He's a pretty good tank. However, he doesn't have any crowd control, so that's something you have to keep in mind. I would say you're going to want to stick with either Hinata or Neji whichever one fits your play style better. If you're going up against somebody who has a mystery that they use in the first turn, or if they have higher initiative than you, you can use Neji in the first turn to cause acupuncture, and then unless they heal that acupuncture, they won't be able to use their mysteries in the second turn. So I'd say stick with one of those two. Then you've got a couple of options as far as damage. Early in the game, you don't have these options for crowd control and supporting, so your fireman is going to be basically all damage when you first start off, right? Even until you get to Genjutsu Mirror Return, he's pretty much just straight damage. So you're going to want maybe one other damage dealer who could add a little bit of tankiness to your lineup. So you could go with Kakashi. Kakashi is a very strong person because he has the extra clone as well as a lot of damage. He's got a couple of chases, a couple of debuffs that he can add. Sasuke obviously is a very good damage dealer early in the game. You don't have to worry about his barrier so much, but he does have the chase with the ignition, which you can use also with your chase with the ignition. So you can cause ignition to most members of the enemy team with Sasuke and the fire main, and then acupuncture with like Hinata if you have a whole chase going on. And then some other beginning ninja. I mean, 10-10 would kind of work. If you can get Kankuro pretty early, that would be a really good thing to do. Kankuro would be really strong in your lineup. And let's see here. As far as damage dealers, Guy Sensei is a very strong pick early in the game because he gives you lifesteal that he can add to your team. Now, for the most part, your fire main is not going to benefit from this lifesteal because it's only taijutsu damage. However, most of the other people on your team will be able to benefit from this, and that extra survivability can help out a lot. So, Guy Sensei is a very good option as well. And as far as starting ninja, that's about it. Right, so then we're going to need some sort of healing in our team. Obviously, you get Sakura right off the bat. Sakura is an excellent healer early in the game. Kabuto is probably the next. Kabuto or Shizune are like one of the next, or even Karin, are one of the next healers that you can get. So you have to decide, okay, do I need more healing? If you need more healing, you can go with Kabuto or Sakura, right? Both of them have a lot of healing. If you want a debuff style team, you could do you could run Hinata, Fire Main. Here, let's just do this here. So we'll go. It'd be something like this: Hinata, Fire Main, Sasuke. I guess I'd put Sasuke there, and then Karin. And then once you unlock the clone, you can use the clone, and the clone will stand right there, and that'll give you a little bit of protection for your fire main. So this team right here, you have ignition with a 10 combo, ignition with a 10 combo, poison with a 10 combo. So you could go with a full debuff team, and that'd be pretty good. Karin is not the best healer, so if you're running into issues where you're not tanky enough, two things you could do. You could add Guy. You could replace Sasuke with Guy. Guy's going to give you that extra lifesteal. Or you could stick with Sasuke, and you could go with Sakura or Kabuto. There you go. That's a very standard early lineup that can last you up until almost, pretty much level 60. I mean, up until level 60, you really, unless you are buying through the events some of the rarer ninja, up until level 60, that's pretty much going to be, like, you're only going to have the basic ninja available to you. If you are going to pay and you're gonna spend for some of the higher ninja, put them into your lineup. I mean, that's... If you buy a rare ninja in one of the events, find a way to get them into your lineup, because if you have them pre-60, that's going to help you out a ton. So make sure, be smart. Don't follow this blindly. I'm just trying to help you out with ideas and ways that you can make a better team. Okay, so That'll last you for a while in the game, right? Up until about level 60. Once you start unlocking these other talents, right? Like the illusion, mirror vision, the sealing jutsu, you can start to get much more flexible. So what I do, I shouldn't say that. We'll get to what I do in a second once we get to the higher level stuff, right? So once you unlock the Kage treasure, okay, Mei is an amazing option. Always an amazing option. Actually, so let's start even before that. Any of the pains, always a good option. If you get one of the pains in the pain treasure, put them into your lineup. The pains are very, very strong before level 60, even level 70. They're still really, really strong, right? So they have, most of them have at least two chases, or they have a chase that they can do twice. They have a lot of, like, Jigakudo brings people back to life. He's a good healer. Shurido has a lot of damage and ignition and interruption. Gakido gets rid of debuff. So, like, whatever ends up whatever pain you get, build around that pain. If you have a damage dealing pain, build support and healing and tankiness around him. If you have a support pain like Jigakudo or Gakido, build damage and a tankiness around him. Like, that's, be smart about what you end up getting. So I don't recommend spending in the pain treasure, but if you get a pain, throw the pain in. After the pains comes the Kage treasure, right? So once you get to the Kage treasure, you got a couple of good options. Danzo, very, very strong option for a fire team. His barrier buffs Fire Ninja, very good. Mei, even better. Tons of damage, team-wide ignition. Her barrier buffs Fire Ninja. She has in... Is it acupuncture? I believe it's an acupuncture with her chase. Danzo has the immobilize with his chase. So both of them have a chase that cancels mysteries. That's always something that I'm looking for in my teams because I want to be able to cancel the enemy's mysteries and kind of dictate the action. But both of them are very strong because they're going to buff your team. Akatsuchi. He's a common. You will get him in the Kage treasure. If you pull in the Kage treasure, a very good tank. You can use him all stages of the game. At this point, you'll have Kimimaru at least 3-star. You should be able to get him to 4-star. Kimimaru, an amazing tank. He might not get buffed by any of the fire stuff, but if you have Danzo, Danzo will buff him as well. But you're not really worried about his damage. Like, he does a lot of damage for a tank, but you're worried about the fact that he scales to the point where you can't kill him. So Kimimaru is a very strong tank if you have a crowd control from somebody else in your lineup. Fu is a fire ninja. Good choice. He creates that puppet every now and then, but not nothing too crazy. So other Kage ninja that can help. I mean, if you get one of the Garas, you can always use Gara. Gara's a very strong tank. His barrier isn't gonna help you, so I would say don't. If you get him and you need a tank, put him in, but I think you have better options with Hinata. By that time, you should definitely have Hinata at least 4-star, and then, like I said, you have Kimimaru. You've got other options. Tsunade is a very strong healer. You can use Tsunade. She, if you want to replace, let's say, Kabuto or Sakura, either one that you're using, with a little bit of damage, you can put in Tsunade. Tsunade is going to help you out. As well as she gives you that chaos potential. Like, Tsunade is a very strong healer that she can add to your team. If you get Hokage Tsunade, like, put her in. Like, be smart. Okay. Onoki does he does buff fire, but I would say not to put him in your team unless you were going to run like an earth style type thing. But even then, I would say don't do that with the fire main. It's not really worth it. Like, let's go with the earth main, but I wouldn't say do that for him. Jiraiya is a very, very strong ninja. Sage Jiraiya is an even stronger ninja. Both of those are going to be very strong in your team if you need damage. So let's say if you're going to use the fire main as a damage source, or I mean as a support, right? So you put, where is Sage, right? So Sage Jiraiya is the better option over normal Jiraiya. You can get Sage Jiraiya through the lucky board. Otherwise, use normal Jiraiya. So Sage Jiraiya is your first choice. Where did normal Jiraiya go? There he is. Normal Jiraiya would be your other choice. Very strong damage dealer. So what you can do is you put him there and then use one of the tanks like I mentioned before. So let's just say, let's go with Hinata still, because Hinata is still a very strong tank at this stage of the game, up to the Kage treasure. Or you could use Akatsuchi, either war. And then to round this out, if you had Danzo, that would be perfect. If you don't have Danzo and you have Mei, use Mei. If you don't have either of those, you could use like an Aruka, or you could add healing to this team through like a Tsunade or a Kabuto wouldn't really work for this team. But Tsunade, Sakura, I think there's another good healer you can get from the Kage treasure. Maybe not. Doesn't look like it. If you have Great Ninja War Sakura from the sign-in, you can also buy her in the... it's not the group shop, it's the ranking store shop now. Put her in. She would be a great option for this team. You put her in right there, boom. This is a very strong team around level 70. This would be. If you had Sage Jiraiya, be even stronger. If you had, Mei, obviously, she'd be a better. If you had Mei, you could replace Jiraiya and put Mei in as your damage dealer, and then that would be, you've got tanky, healing, tons of damage, support. You'd be perfect with this. So with this, I would run the Illusion Mirroring Vision because it gives you the immunity to debuffs as well as the shield, which is going to help you out. It's going to help out Hinata for survivability. It'll help Sakura last long enough to get her Katsuya onto the field, and then it'll help Jiraiya just because it'll keep him immune, and people are probably going to end up focusing him. He's your main damage source for this team. Most of the time, I'd say you're gonna want to use Fire Style Bomb Blast because it has the ability to give the entire enemy team ignition. Very strong to help your team out. The Genjutsu Mirror Return, as if you're running support Fire Style, Genjutsu Mirror Return, definitely good. If you're running into some healing issues, you can also run Ninjutsu Urge to give you the extra lifesteal. So like when Jiraiya uses his mystery, it's all ninjutsu. That would be straight lifesteal that he would get back from that. But most of the time you're going to want to run Genjutsu Mirror Return. And then in this case, you could run the clone. So you could switch these two and run the clone to put him there, and then Sakura is pretty much guaranteed to get off her mystery the next turn. So that would help you out a lot as well. So let's see here. Hidan Death Possession Blood, if you get him, put him in. Amazing with the fire main. He is, always. And then if you use Hidan, use the Ninjutsu Urge, because that will give him lifesteal on his stab, right? So that'll help him stay alive instead of killing himself so quickly. So you could run a Danzo, Hidan, and then really anybody in this. So because you got Danzo in there, I'd put Kimimaru in. If you had Mei, I would put in a different tank. You could actually put in Ao, because you're going to get Ao at some point. You could run Ao as your pseudo tank. He himself is not very, very tanky, but what he would do if you had Mei, because I don't have Mei, so I can't put her in here. But if you had Mei, he would shield everybody on your field. Plus, he would have his clones, and he would give you a bunch of chakra from his clones dying. So you could do like that, and then his clones would line the front line there. I would say you could still run the clone jutsu just because the clone uses the fire style celestial prison, which does help out a lot. Or you could use the Bani chakra to guarantee giving yourself that extra chakra. Actually, no, I would say use Bani Chakra because, and then Illusion Mirroring Vision. So when you use the Illusion Mirroring Vision, you're going to get the extra chakra. You can use Ao's Acupuncture and Hidan's Mystery both in the first round. And then when the clones die, which they inevitably will, you'll have enough chakra for Mei's Mystery in the second round. Boom, just like that. That's a very strong team right there. If you pay for Hidan. I mean, that's just the way that goes. Like I said, I gotta try and keep everything in mind. Oh, actually, okay, so I did forget Kurenai. Kurenai is a very strong support-ish character. Like she's a support character with mild healing only through her mystery. But she also adds the Genjutsu Mirror Return if you wanted to run something like Ninjutsu Urge or Fire Style. If you wanted the extra damage, you could run Fire Style and then have Kurenai in there. Itachi is also strong early, very early in the game, because he gives you the... actually, no, his barrier doesn't buff anybody, so never mind. Forget about that. Forget that I said that. Okay, so at this point, most of the other Kage treasure people aren't really going to help you that much. So blitz teams don't really work for the fire main. I would say stay away from that. So like Awesome Windblade really is only going to help you for the Nine Tails event. All right, so what's the next treasure then? So we've got, yeah, so we went through this. Okay, oh, Sage Naruto. I don't have Sage Naruto, but Sage Naruto, before you get to the Jinchuriki, if you have Sage Naruto, put him in your lineup. Sage Naruto, very tanky, tons of damage for a tank. Sage Naruto is always a great choice. If you have him, put him in your lineup and then build around Sage Naruto. So after the Kage treasure, we have the Ito treasure, right? So from the Ito treasure, we now have people like, yeah, what goes over here? So Kinkaku and Ginkaku are more of a lightning type ninja. They're a lot better for what's it called, for blitz teams. However, both of them have some sort of crowd control in their chase. If you want to run them, you can. One causes acupuncture, one causes immobile with their chases. However, I would say don't worry about them, only if you really want to put them in. Raza is a very strong ninja as a tank if you can get him up to at least 3-star. However, unless you're paying, you're not going to be able to get him up to 3-star very easily. So again, like him and Gengetsu, both very strong ninja, but it's going to be difficult to get them up to 3-star. I forgot about Mifune. Mifune from the Kage treasure. If you're running into issues with lightning teams that have Root of the Warrior and you're trying to run any kind of debuffs and you can't get them off on that team, Mifune is your answer. Put Mifune into your team because then the second round you'll cancel all of their buffs and all of their shields, and then you'll be able to stack your debuffs. So don't forget about Mifune. A is a very strong ninja. Not gonna help you too much just because he's a standalone very strong ninja. You can build around him with the fire main, absolutely. Susanoo Itachi, obviously if you get him, you put him in your lineup. Don't even think about that. Nagato is a very strong ninja that, again, you can use to get rid of shields and buffs on the enemy team, so you can get rid of the Root of the Warrior with his almighty push. So if you get Nagato, you can definitely run that. And then if you end up getting Nagato and you use Nagato, put any Ito Tensei people into your lineup that you can. So like if you have Genkaku or Kinkaku, put them into your lineup. You can build an Ito Tensei team just like that. Other members from the Ito Tensei, Kabuto's Snake Cloak, don't really worry about it. Haku is a very strong ninja, but she's not really going to help or synergize with your team at all. So I would say don't worry about that. You can always replace Hidan in that last lineup that I showed you, Cursed Hidan, with normal Hidan. Won't be quite as good, but you can it still gives you a chance. It still does a good amount of damage. And then for the rest, I think that's just about it. The Ito Tensei treasure is very small. So you see Ginkaku's there. Oh, Mu would actually be a good answer. Mu would be a good answer for a team. He has pseudo tankiness in his clone and the fact that he resurrects, so you could actually put him in the front line. If you wanted to have him as like a tanky kind of person that's going to resurrect, put him in the front line. If you want to make him as a damage dealer, put him in the back line and put a tank in front of him so that his clone stays alive as well. That would be a good option. You could use. He's very flexible. He fits in with the fire main style. So let's see here. I'll show you one of the teams that I used to use. So it was... We had Danzo for the barrier, Sage Jiraiya, the fire main, and then Aruka. Right, so this was a team that I used to run when I first got Sage Jiraiya. You can use Sage Jiraiya's mystery in the second turn. However, you have to wait for him to generate the chakra, so that kind of was a pain because the enemy would always get off their mystery first, and I'd have to wait to get off my mystery. But Aruka is helpful. You could always do that, and then you could cancel whichever enemy is going to use their mystery in the second round, so you save his mystery. And then in this case, you've got a full fire team. You've got the barrier to buff you. You've got tons of damage with Sage Mode Jiraiya. You can either go damage or support. Sage Jiraiya is pretty much all the damage you're going to need, so I went with the support style fire main with that. I think it was one of those two, and then the Rhino because of Danzo, and then I believe I either used Fire Style Enhancement or Ninjutsu Urge, depending on the fight. So if I wanted if I wanted the lifesteal, I'd go with Ninjutsu Urge. If I wanted to kind of blitz them and do a ton of damage, I'd go Fire Style. And then I went with the clone to cover Jiraiya, just so he didn't end up dying in the first round there. So that's something that you can do, again, right around the Kage level. And then after the Ito Tensei, we have the Jinchuriki. So once the Jinchuriki come, you start to get a lot of options. At this point in the game, we're starting to get into the bigger, rarer ninjas, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do now. So again, Sage Naruto, always a good idea. Just always. He's always a strong ninja in the game. So at this point, Han and Roshi are both very good ideas for tanks. Either one. Han is tankier, and he gives you the ability to get rid of the enemy team's shields and buffs. So something you can do with Han is you put Han in, and then you use Illusion Mirroring Vision. So you use Han's mystery first, and then he clears all buffs and shields on both sides, on both the enemy and your team. And then you immediately use Illusion Mirror Vision on your team to give yourself the shield and the immunity. So now you have a shield and immunity, and the enemy team is wiped all the way back to nothing. That's something you can do there. So Han is a very strong tank because, one, he's got super armor, he heals himself, and he can get rid of shields and buffs. Very good tank. Roshi is more of a damage dealer. Damage dealing, he's not all that tanky. Like, he's kind of classified as a tank, but he's really not all that tanky. He does heal himself, and he's immune to debuffs. That's very good for him, but he doesn't have super armor, so he can get comboed, and he can lose a lot of his life through that. However, he does destroy barriers, so if you're running into an issue where you're fighting a lot of people that have barriers, Roshi is perfect for that. He gets rid of the barrier in the second round. He can't do it in the first round, but he does it in the second round. He destroys, and he does a ton of damage with his mystery and his chase. If you can get to a 30 combo to use his chase hits for like 3,000 damage on 4 people. Like, that is a shit ton of damage for a chase across 4 different people. Like, that's game changing right there if you can hit that. Also, anytime and it causes ignition, and then anytime anybody damages him with taijutsu, they get ignition. So he is a debuff style tank. He's not super tanky, but he is a good tank. He struggles against blitz teams, though. That's one of his issues, because he can be killed in the first round. Kimimaro is still a very strong tank at this level of the game. Hinata, still a very strong tank at this level of the game. However, you have much better options if you can get either Han or Roshi. Both of them are going to be better for your team than Kimimaro or Hinata. But if you don't have 200 seal scrolls to spend and you can't get one of these two, stick with Kimimaro or Hinata or Akatsuchi or Mu. Like I said, those are Those are going to be your best options for tank. Oh, and Gaara. Those are going to be your best options for tanks. So then we've got people like Yugito. Yugito is if she's at 2-star, I wouldn't say put her in your lineup. She's not going to be all that helpful as a 2-star. However, she does cause ignition to the whole team with her mystery, and she's able to help get from a 20 combo up to a 30 combo for Roshi. So if you wanted to go a full Jinchuriki team, you could go with Yugito and Roshi. Fu is very strong if you're running a full Jinchuriki team because she gives all of them at the beginning of a battle. She gives them all an extra standard attack. So if you ran Sage Naruto and Fu, Sage Naruto would get to attack twice. Same with like Yugito or Roshi or any of them. Utakata is good if you want to add a poisoning element to your team. If you want to go with a debuff style team for your fire main, that Utakata is a very good option because he adds poisoning with his chase. He attacks 4 units and causes poisoning to all 4 of them, so that's strong. He also causes poisoning with his mystery to up to 9 people, so that's very strong. Killer Bee Samahata really isn't going to help you out. So I would say don't worry about him from the Jinchuriki treasure. And then we've got Yagura is a support kind of character because he can add... What you can do with Yagura is you can grab somebody from the enemy team and put him into your team. And then that way what ends up happening is you get any buffs that character has, that character gives, they buff your team. So they have an Aruka, you can grab Aruka, he'll shield the members of your team from Konoha. If they have a Killer Bee and you're running a Jinchuriki team, copy Killer Bee, he'll add his buffs to your team, or you could just copy the enemy's main character and you get all of that main character's chases added to your chases. Oh, he also helps with, because his chase adds a lot of combo, so his 10 combo can get you to 30 combo with one other person pretty easily for Roshi. So again, him and Roshi is a good option if you want to have... So it'd be like, with the Fire Main, you have 2 support kind of characters with Roshi to keep him alive. And then you might want to add maybe one more damage dealer into that team. Again, Sailor Sakura is obviously a very good, but Great Ninja War Sakura would be another good option for this team if you're going to run with Roshi to help keep him alive, or Han, again, either or. Both of them are good if you have them. So, yeah. Okay, so there's that. Now, the team that I'm currently running is this team right here. So it is a debuff style whittle the enemy down kind of lineup. So what I do is you have Han to get rid of their immunity and their shields and their buffs, right? So I use him first round. Then I use the Fire Main's Illusioning Mirror to give this whole lineup immunity as well as a shield. Help keep these 2 alive in the first round. Then for my chases, we have a 10 combo that causes ignition. And Hanzo has a 10 combo that causes poisoning. His mystery causes poisoning. He has a knockdown chase that causes ignition, which both of these guys cause knockdown with their attacks. And then I'm also running this fire style flame jutsu, so then both of these guys have a chance of causing a 10 combo to start the combo off, right? I did a whole video on this team, so if you want to know more about this team, you can watch that video. I don't want to waste any time on them here. But yeah, that is pretty much everything from the ninja that I have. Now, Masked Man, if you somehow are able to get him in the 3.0, use the Masked Man. The Masked Man is a top level support character. He gets rid of shields and buffs, and he causes a mobile with his mystery. His chase is single target, but it does a shit ton of damage because it ignores defense and resistance, and it also causes a mobile, so it's super, super strong. And he reduces Jinchuriki's attack and ninjutsu by 12%. So that's very, very strong against Jinchuriki teams. Same with Minato Flak Jacket. If you have Minato Flak Jacket, use him as your damage dealer. Build support around him. Put a tank in front of him. Give your team some kind of a healing. Use your fire main as your support character. Boom, that's all the damage you need right there. Other than them, Kakashi Beheading Sword and Seven Swordsman Zabuza aren't really going to help you out too much. Great Ninja War Choji, if you can get him to 3-star, he's very good as an attack tank. He does a lot of damage up front. And he scales. You always want to have Scaling Ninja if you can. Susanoo Sasuke, very strong damage dealer. You can put him in your lineup with Danzo. If you get Danzo, Susanoo Sasuke, Fire Main, Danzo. Susanoo Sasuke can kind of be your tank. I'd probably recommend putting a tank in front of him, though, because he can die somewhat easily. And he's not immune to debuffs, but... Okay. I am pretty sure that I cover this about as thoroughly as possible. This video ran on probably longer than I wanted it to, but I wanted to make sure that I got everything. I want to give you guys all of your options for what you can do. So to kind of sum things up, the way that the Fire Main works is he can be used as a debuff machine, which is very good. He can be used as a damage dealer. It can be used as a support character, or it can be used for a bunch of crowd control, right? So there's so many things a Fire Main can do. He's very versatile. Pretty much means that he can be used with just about any team. But the options that I gave you are going to be better. Your best options, I should say. They'll be your best options. You can use the Fire Main with just about anybody because you can use him in so many different roles, whereas the Lightning Main you can really only use for damage. So like with Lightning Main, you build tankiness and healing around him. Lightning Main is your damage. There you go. Fire Main can be used in so many different ways that it depends on who you want in your lineup and what style you want to run. Do you want to run a team where you're constantly debuffing the enemy team with ignition and poisoning? Okay, well then you use him as your debuff robot, basically. He just constantly is debuffing them every single turn. Do you want to run a team where you've got plenty of damage, you need to keep that damage alive? Okay, use him as a support character. You can also put in the debuffs as well, but you can use him as support and then debuff the enemy team that way. With the Genjutsu Mirror Return for support and Mirroring Vision as support, all that good stuff. Do you have good support characters like the Masked Man, and do you have good tanks like Han, but you need more damage? There you go. Use the Fire Main as your damage. Like, he can be used in just about every situation, so it is very difficult to kind of narrow down exactly, what the best way to use him is. It's all about what you want to run, what ninja you have, and like what ninja you really want to put into your lineup. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope I did a good job of explaining this. Like I said, I tried to be as thorough as possible, help you guys out with every possible option that you have the whole way through the game. Like I said before, if you want to stay up to date with all my future videos, please make sure you are subscribed. Click that bell notification so you don't miss any of my content and any of my live streamings. I hope this helped you guys out. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment down below. I try to answer all the comments that I get. I hope you guys all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching the whole way through the video, because it really does help me with the whole YouTube algorithm thing. So thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Appreciate every single one of you. Hope you have a great day, and peace.